What's up guys, back with another Borderlands 2 and 3 rant video, and today I mostly just wanted to go ahead and talk about a couple of different topics that are Borderlands related. In this video, I will be talking about how Claptrap and T.K. Baha's voice actor has apparently left Gearbox. I'll give you guys some more information that we have on the Borderlands movie that was announced last year, and I will finally talk about a non-related event that could possibly affect Borderlands 3 in the future whenever it releases. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and start. In an article written by VentureBeat, it was revealed that David Eddings has left Gearbox Software. Now, if you don't know who he is, David Eddings served as Gearbox's Vice President of Business Development. However, perhaps more importantly, David was the voice actor behind Claptrap and T.K. Baha in the Borderlands games. So it's looking like if T.K. Baha or Claptrap return in Borderlands 3, they may have an entirely different voice actor. The VentureBeat article also goes on to indicate that David Eddings left Gearbox to join Rooster Teeth Games, where he is the head of the games publishing division for that company. Now, to confirm this, I went ahead and checked David Eddings' LinkedIn page, and it appears that David is no longer working at Gearbox Software. And to double check this, I also went ahead and checked David's Twitter, and it appears that there is a retweet dated to June 2nd, 2017 that leads to the VentureBeat article. So, as of June 2nd, 2017, I think it's safe to say that David Eddings, the voice of Claptrap, is no longer working at Gearbox Software. I've got to say that this really sucks because David Eddings is the voice for Claptrap, and out of all of the NPCs, Claptrap is basically the mascot for Borderlands, and to see the original voice behind the character leave the company is a depressing thing indeed. What's also pretty unfortunate about all of this is that it just seems like a lot of the people that were arguably key to Borderlands' success are leaving the company. About 2 years ago, you had both Matthew Armstrong and Anthony Birch leave the company. Matthew Armstrong was basically one of the directors and lead designers, while Anthony Birch served as lead writer for Borderlands 2. This year in particular, though, we've already had news of Mikey Newman leaving the company due to health complications, and Newman was supposed to be the lead writer for Borderlands 3 and was the voice actor for Scooter before Scooter was killed off during Tales from the Borderlands. And now to have the voice of Claptrap leave Gearbox is just sad. It's going to be really interesting to see what Borderlands 3, or whatever they call the next game, is going to be like without guys like Mikey Newman, Matthew Armstrong, and now David Eddings. Perhaps it's possible that David Eddings could possibly return to do some voice work for Borderlands 3, but I think this is unlikely since it appears that he's simply moved on to work at Rooster Teeth. If David Eddings ends up not voicing Claptrap for the next game, it's going to be pretty interesting to see whoever it is that Gearbox picks. Will Gearbox decide to get a voice actor that can emulate David's original voice, or will they change Claptrap's voice entirely? What I will say is if David somehow manages to watch this particular video, I wish you the best in your future endeavors. In more positive news, it appears that we have some more information on the upcoming Borderlands movie from Lionsgate that was initially announced about a year or two ago. During an interview with Jeff Keighley during YouTube's E3 press conference, Randy Pitchford provided us with some information on the new Borderlands movie. When Jeff Keighley asked Randy about the upcoming movie, Randy Pitchford said that he didn't have much to announce, however, he could talk about the project a little bit. Randy says, quote, "We've been developing scripts, and the strategy that we're on right now is that it's obviously in the Borderlands universe, but rather than retell the stories that were in the games, we'll create new stories so that the films will have their own film canon. We'll use all the characters and scenarios, and it's kind of a similar strategy to what Marvel is doing, where you can't read any particular film plot in a book, but there's a lot of the characters, themes, and in fact, some of the situations that are represented." Randy also mentioned that some of the people that are working on the new Borderlands film apparently worked on some of the Marvel movies like Spider-Man, X-Men, and the Iron Man movies, so that could be a good sign that the film will be of good quality, especially since the guys behind the Marvel Cinematic Universe have done a really good job in the past. This is just my opinion, but my hope is that whoever makes the Borderlands movie makes it into an animated production rather than a live-action film. And my thinking is that the Borderlands art style is good enough to where an animated film would look drastically better. And think of something like Tales from the Borderlands, except in movie form. And that could be really good and really entertaining. And I also mention that because Blizzard has had a lot of success with their Overwatch shorts, and I think Gearbox could do an amazing job by employing a similar strategy to perhaps get people invested in some of the characters in the Borderlands games. Now, this is speculation on my part, but I'm going to go ahead and predict that the Borderlands film may be released to coincide with the release of the next Borderlands game. This might not come to fruition, but my reasoning for this is because Gearbox has had massive marketing campaigns for Borderlands 2 in the past, which included some cool stuff like the 16-bit remake of Borderlands called The Borderlands. Perhaps 2K and Gearbox are simply stepping up their game this time, and they're making a movie to release alongside the game to help promote it and get more people interested in the Borderlands universe. Or maybe the Borderlands movie will come out next year, and then Borderlands 3 will come out the year after in 2019. But I guess we'll ultimately just have to see. My other hope is that this new Borderlands movie doesn't follow the trend of other video game movies, where many of them are just awful. The recently released Assassin's Creed got really bad reviews, and I hope the Borderlands movie from Lionsgate is a whole lot better. I also have to admit that initially I was very skeptical about the Borderlands movie when it was announced sometime last year. But the more that I think about it, it's possible that Gearbox could manage to pull off something that's actually pretty cool. After all, Tales from the Borderlands was really cool, and if it was possible to have a movie version of that would be awesome. Now, this last thing isn't technically Borderlands news, but I do think it's probably a good idea to discuss it, as I think it's a relevant topic to Borderlands mods, both in Borderlands 2 and possibly in Borderlands 3. For those of you that don't know, Take-Two Interactive, who is the major publisher behind developers like Rockstar Games and Gearbox Software, they recently sent a cease and desist for Open4, which is a mod tool for Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, the main reason for this appears to have a lot to do with GTA Online, which is the online multiplayer component for GTA 5 that has microtransactions. And according to the Open4 developers, Take-Two sent them a cease and desist with one line specifically saying that the software will, quote, allow third parties to defeat security features of its software and modify that software in violation of Take-Two's rights. There's also a statement from Rockstar Games that mentions, quote, unfortunately, Open4 enables recent malicious mods that allow harassment of players and interfere with the GTA Online experience for everybody. Now, while I like Rockstar and some of the developers and games that Take-Two publishes, I think I can agree with the vast majority of people when I say that I think this was an extremely bad move on Take-Two's part. On the one hand, I guess I see why they don't want people messing with the online experience. After all, GTA Online has a microtransaction system, and according to Take-Two themselves, they've apparently made $500 million off of microtransactions. If this is true, and to put this in perspective, then GTA Online's microtransactions alone would have covered the development and initial marketing costs of GTA 5 almost twice over. It's absolutely insane that a video game has made that much money simply off of microtransactions. However, what is definitely bullcrap about all of this is that the Open4 mod tool specifically doesn't modify the online portion of the game. Open4 is designed to modify the single-player game only, rather than the multiplayer component. And while GTA 5 is known for its fair share of hackers in the multiplayer mode, it seems like Take-Two would be better off sending a cease and desist to the hackers that were actually affecting their online service, rather than going after a group of talented modders that were ultimately enriching the single-player experience for the PC community. Just as a quick aside, one of the reasons that mods were popular on the PC version of GTA 5 was because Rockstar and Take-Two decided to put all of their resources into developing content for GTA Online rather than develop any single-player expansions for GTA 5. I would argue if Take-Two and Rockstar are mostly focused on improving GTA Online and have largely abandoned the single-player experience, then why are they going through the effort of banning single-player mods? Furthermore, this is for the PC version of the game, and the main reason you would buy the PC version of GTA 5 was for the unofficial mod support that it's offered. If mods are blocked from now on, many people that own the PC version of the game aren't going to buy it anymore. I suppose it's also worth mentioning that as a result of all of this controversy, a number of Steam users have flooded Steam's store page for Grand Theft Auto 5 to massively tank the user review scores. At the time of making this video, the recent user reviews are flagged as overwhelmingly negative, and the overall review score for the game has been reduced to mixed. At the end of the day, a lot of people are very unhappy with Take-Two's decision to shut down Open 4. Of course, you're probably wondering how all of this relates to Borderlands. Originally, one of my theories was that Gearbox was okay with modding Borderlands 2, however it was 2K that ultimately stepped in and objected to the practice. However, it may actually be that Take-Two is the one that's against modding the Borderlands games and won't allow any significant mods to exist because it might end up competing with all of the DLC that they're trying to sell for the various games. While I do think DLC has a tendency to compete with user-generated mods, the answer to selling your DLC in these scenarios would be to simply make higher quality DLC that the modders can't produce. For example, I doubt a group of modders could make something like the Dragonkeep DLC for Borderlands 2, the Claptastic Voyage DLC for the pre-sequel, or the General Knox DLC for Borderlands 1, and more importantly, have the project get released within a reasonable time window after the Borderlands game first releases. The fact is, modders can't compete with a studio of professionals and get quality projects out on a semi-regular basis. That, and as far as Borderlands 2 is concerned, the mod capabilities for this game are fairly limited, and won't allow you to create entirely new maps or add new assets to the game. While I don't think that Take-Two will file a cease and desist and try to remove the Borderlands 2 community patch GitHub page, I do think this entire controversy sends a clear message that modding is probably not going to be available for Borderlands 3. I think that's a damn shame too, especially considering how popular the community patch have been for the PC version of Borderlands 2. There have been a lot of really cool mods and gameplay alterations which make the game a lot more interesting to play for longtime veterans like myself. My hope is that Take-Two and Rockstar rethink their decision, or possibly just let the whole thing fizzle out and silently let mod authors for single-player mods continue and work on their projects. As I mentioned earlier, the reason people buy GTA on the PC is because of the modding community for the game. I guess time will tell, but the possibility of mods in Borderlands 3 is starting to look pretty remote. It's a shame too, since mods have historically always been popular for the Borderlands games, and it's a shame that Take-Two is unwilling to really take advantage of mods to build up their user base on PC like Bethesda has done with their games. But alright guys, I think that's going to wrap up this particular video. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like, but you know what, let's see if we can get to 2,000 likes. If we can't, no big deal, but otherwise, like this video if you liked it, click the bell to join the notification squad, and as always, take care, and I'll see you all next time.